Hello and welcome back CruiseHols, where in this video I take you through all you need to know about the cruise port of Ushuaia. The Argentine city of Ushuaia is one of the world's most stunningly beautiful cruise ports that acts as a gateway to Antarctica, but that is also a popular port of call for ships sailing around South America. Thanks to its location on the famous Beagle Channel, it can be reached by ships sailing along both the Pacific and Atlantic coasts of the continent, and that's a great thing. As for me, it's a port that's well worth visiting. The town's motto is Fin de Mundo, or End of the World, and that is for good reason, as Ushuaia is thought to be the most southerly city in the world. It sits in the heart of the Tierra del Fuego, and even if you don't fancy going ashore, you will get to see the snow-capped mountains and plenty of wildlife that surrounds you as you explore the city. But it would be a shame if you didn't go on shore, as there is lots to enjoy both in Ushuaia itself and the surrounding areas, which makes Ushuaia one of South America's leading ports of call and departure ports for those heading on expeditions down to the southern continent. So if you're heading down there to join your ship, or if you are all set to call into the city on a cruise, this is the guide for you, as I go through what I believe to be the most important aspects of a cruise port of call, including the attractions on offer at the port, the excursions that can be taken from the port, the facilities that you find there, the transportation that's offered and the all-around ease of getting around the port, its location, and of course the range of cruise lines that visit there. So if that sounds of interest to you, why not give us a like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and also let me know your thoughts on Ushuaia in the comments below. My name is Darren, and this is my review and rating for the port of Ushuaia in Argentina. For me, the main attraction of Ushuaia is something you don't get in that many cities, as it's the natural beauty of it itself that stands out. Surrounded by mountains on three sides, and with the Beagle Channel in front of it, you have an incredible setting for what is a relatively large and bustling city. So whilst there are hundreds of thousands of people there, it still retains a small town charm, and it still feels quite remote, as you would expect from the southernmost city at the end of the world. As well as incredible scenery you see walking along the seafront in Ushuaia, if you look out into the Beagle Channel, you have a chance to spot penguins, seals, seabirds and maybe even orcas. From the end of the cruise pier, you can take boat rides to either have a tour of the Beagle Channel, head to a local famous lighthouse, which is home to lots of seals as well, or you can just head out wildlife watching. There are a couple of boat wrecks that you can see from the city centre, and there is also a small naval base where you can usually see some of the Argentine naval fleet. The city is dominated by Avenue San Martin, or its main high street, which is just one row back from the seafront, with the street offering a wide range of shops, bars, restaurants and cafes. And with it being so close to the end of the cruise pier, it makes for a great day of just getting off the ship and exploring to see what you come across. So whilst you certainly don't get any major attractions and no theme parks and stuff like that, if you are heading to somewhere like Ushuaia, you want wildlife, you want natural beauty, and it gives you all of that and so much more. So for attractions on offer, I give Ushuaia a 6 out of 10. There are quite a few different options for those wanting to spend part of the day, or even all of their time on shore, outside the city limits of Ushuaia, including doing the excursion that I did, where I took a coach tour to the Tierra del Fuego National Park. This included visiting Ensenada Bay, the Roca Lake, and it also ended in Lapatay Bay. And whilst you're in the national park itself, you do head to a gift shop, of course. There are multiple pre-bookable boat tours that head out into the Beagle Channel, and they tend to go to either penguin colonies, to see seals and sea lions, or simply cruise the channel to take in the mountains and the wildlife around you. The city actually developed out of being a penal colony, and that history can be best explored by taking a ride on the train at the end of the world, a narrow gauge railway that heads into the Tierra del Fuego National Park, and has a long history connected to the penal past of the city. There is a double-decker tour bus that can either be booked when you arrive or pre-booked through the line that takes you around the city and around its outskirts to take in some of those incredible views. For those who want to be a little bit more energetic on land, there are a few guided hikes that can be taken, and you can also head out on a husky sledge ride. If you're only in the city for a short amount of time, a private tour of the region could be your way to go, or you can do a shared minibus tour to keep the cost down. So when it comes to the excursions on offer, it's again one of those places where there isn't a massive variety, but it does allow you to do the things you are likely to be there to do, if that makes sense. So for the excursions, I give it an 8 out of 10. The cruise port itself in Ushuaia is well equipped for mainstream ships to call in there, and it can handle multiple ships at the same time, but it is more designed around smaller expedition ships that are either home porting, getting turned around into porting, or simply calling in there as a port of call itself. The port is made up of a large pier that stretches from the city's seafront boulevards and into the Beagle Channel, with ships lining up one behind another down both sides of it. At the city end of the pier, there is a small arrival hall where those starting their adventures go through the immigration and security process, while those calling into the port simply just need to walk through it. Between there and the port gate, there are a few shops for those wanting last minute gifts, although these cost more than the gift shops in the city centre, for example. Then after you walk through the port gate, you arrive at a well kept square full of shore excursion providers, a few more gift shops, a tourist information office, and some interesting pieces of art, perfect for the first selfie of your visit. Whilst there is no large terminal building, and there is a bit of a walk between your ship and the port gate, especially if you're at the end of the pier, it doesn't matter too much, as it's only a short stroll between the city and the port. One thing to bear in mind is there's little cover from the elements at the port, so remember to take an umbrella on shore with you, even if it's set to be dry all day. So for the facilities at the port, I give it a 6 out of 10, as it has everything you need, but nothing over and above that. So when it comes to getting around and the transport on offer, it's limited. There is a Routemaster style double-decker bus that, for those with mobility issues, is probably the best way to explore the city. And there are some taxis that are available from outside the port entrance, but unless you're wanting to head to the outskirts of town, the only way really to explore is on foot. Thankfully it's not very far between the port gate and the city centre and the main high street, although after crossing the seafront promenade, it is all uphill to start with. But again, it's not very far and it's well worth the effort. So when it comes to the transport and getting around, for the vast majority of people, it's incredibly simple, so I give it a 9 out of 10. The port of Ushuaia is perfectly located in the heart of the city, just a short stroll from the main high street, and also close to the city's airport for those starting or ending their itineraries in the city. The port is also on the iconic Beagle Channel, which makes for an incredible entrance, where you not only get a great view of the city as you pull up to its long pier, but also of the mountains that surround it. It really does set the scene for a great day ashore, and if you like us, you'll also have some penguins swimming alongside you to welcome you, and numerous other seabirds. So, in terms of its location for getting around the port, for getting off of the ship and into where you really need to be, and also for just where it's based in the world, it's a 9 out of 10, as it really is one of its strongest points. And in many ways, in terms of its location, it's one of my favourite I have visited. So when it comes to the choice of lines that visit Ushuaia, you are a little bit limited, as it tends to be more premium lines for large ships, and then expedition ships if you're wanting a smaller one. It's also a very limited cruise period due to the conditions down there, with the vast majority of sailings occurring during the southern continent summer, or the winter months in the northern hemisphere. So it actually makes it a bit of a tricky one to do, as with the mainstream lines being a bit limited, you could mark it down. But then there is such a huge range of luxury lines and expedition lines that it's difficult to mark down the city for that. So on balance, I think it's slightly higher than average, so I give it a 7 out of 10 for the choice of cruise lines. So there you have my thoughts on the cruise port of Ushuaia. A cruise port I really like and would love to go back to if I ever get the chance. As you've seen from this, its strength is really in its location, in the heart of Ushuaia and surrounded by mountains and the big old channel. It is slightly let down by the facilities that are there, but again, it's perfectly good enough. So overall, it gets a 7.5 out of 10. And it's well worth it. So all that remains to be said is thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my rating and review of the cruise port of Ushuaia in Argentina, and see you next time.